Alright, tool groupies, I showed you this 8-inch long nose plier with wire stripping plates a few months back. But since then, I put it to work, and you can check that out on all these social media platforms. Now, the model number and other specifications will be here on screen. If you walk into Lowe's, you can find these pliers in the electrical aisle. Now, these are basically Kobalt's version of the electrician's plier. They're not like your traditional plier. Now, these are made in China from chrome vanadium steel. You got laser engraved wire gauge sizes and the Kobalt logo in the center of the pliers. The dual molded grips has a built-in tethering loop with the Kobalt name and the letter L molded into them. So when you glance over into your tool bag and see the L, you'll instantly know it's the long nose plier. Before you go up a ladder, you can tether these to you so you don't go worry about dropping those pliers. The handles are longer than the nose, which means you're going to get plenty of leverage, but the long nose portion of the plier is a little bit thicker than traditional pliers. That's going to be good for twisting and pulling. Two cutting knives rest between the jaws. They do seem to do good cutting thicker wire gauge, but I have had some issues with smaller gauge wire. The long nose jaws have fine serrated teeth, but the teeth on these are not very impressive. These teeth wasn't machined sharp or deep, and if you look on this jaw, it doesn't go all the way across to the other side, so it's actually missing a minute section of that grip. The riveted joint is nice and tight. It opens and closes smooth with minimal jaw slop. There's two stainless steel wire stripping plates fastened to the upper portion of the handle with 4 torque screws that could be removed if you wanted them. They do have precision cut channels that'll strip 10 to 18 solid AWG or 12 to 20 stranded. Now, since I've been using these pliers, I haven't had any issues with them stripping the insulation or the accuracy in which it does it. There is a hassle-free lifetime guarantee, so I could walk in and exchange it if I chose to. Pliers have been performing fine for what I've used them for. Of course, there's better options out here for a long nose wire stripping plier, but there's not many that's going to have the wire stripping plates in between the handle. This design alone is going to have its advantages in certain situations. Like sometimes if you're using a regular long nose wire stripper, you might have to worry about damaging the grooves or nicking wires, especially if you're reaching into tight confined space. And access tight confined space is way better with these pliers, and I get a little bit more leverage doing. The thicker long nose design also handles torsion pretty good. That comes in handy when I'm looping, twisting, pulling, or feeding wire. I've used these quite a bit to feed new wire through conduit. If you're out in the field doing work and you've got room to strip wires in between the handles, they do work fine. Sometimes it's actually a good option to have. Maybe sometimes you just get bored with using the same wire stripper and you want to change it up a little bit. Now, I've been in some situations where having a pair of pliers with the wire stripping on the nose was pretty difficult, but you could actually put the wire in between the strippers on this, and the way you position your hand on the plier can get a little bit more leverage stripping the wire. You just got to get yourself in one of those situations to understand what I'm talking about. When it comes to this design, Kobalt doesn't have much competition out here. They do offer this same design with a pair of their lineman pliers. Just in this past year alone, I've been hired to perform a ton of different electrical repairs and upgrades, replacing and upgrading or removing and installing breakers, fixtures, receptacles, disposals, and more. This plier was on those jobs doing that work. Now, they're not going to be my go-to tool. They're not the greatest and they're not the worst. I would not depend on these on a daily basis. They are a decent plier to have if you just want to try them out. They'll do fine for a do-it-yourself or maintenance technician or general contractor. That's going to be my opinion based on my experience thus far. So tell us what your opinion is by commenting down below. Then pop that clutch and subscribe, because we got more new tools coming up and plenty for you to check out.